Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today. In this presentation, we're going to show you how to use spread arbitrage, which is our new crypto trader tool. You can access this tool by clicking on Tools at the top and then on Spread Arbitrage Monitor right here. Now bear in mind that this tool is only available to those users who have a balance of at least 150 DHT. So if your balance falls under 150 DHT, you will not be able to use this. So it's a good idea to be mindful of your balance at all times. So let's go ahead and click on Tools and then Spread Arbitrage. So the first tab that you see is Symbols Management. We have two fields. We've got base symbols and we have quote symbols. Now base symbols is for altcoins or even Bitcoins and Ethereum. These will be used relative to the quote symbols below. So these will be used as pairs. For example, Ethereum and Bitcoin, or Ethereum and USD, or Ripple and Bitcoin, and so on. So essentially, these two fields generate the symbols that we will use with this tool. So we can click on Next at the very bottom and move on to the next tab, which is the exchange tab. Now this is where we add the exchanges that we will use. We need to click on the add button at the bottom. And we can now select our first exchange. So from the list of exchanges right here, we choose the one that we want to add. Let's go with this one. Once you select the exchange, hit enter, and the symbol format field is automatically populated with the symbol format used by this exchange. The symbol mapping field is used in a situation where the exchange uses unconventional, non-conventional symbols. For example, if the exchange uses XBT instead of BTC for Bitcoin, then you would put that in there. And finally, in the commission fields, you specify the commission used by the exchange. Now, keep in mind that the value is not expressed in percentage terms. So if the commission used by the exchange is 0.2%, you need to enter 0.0020 as shown. If the commission is 0.25%, you need to enter 0.0025, like this. You do the same thing for every other exchange that you would like to add. Let's just add a few more exchanges. We'll go with Poloniex. We'll add Exmo. CX.io is another one that we can add. Let's add, say, let's go with Bitstamp. We can go with Bitfinex and maybe Bitrex as well. I'm just going with the more popular exchanges right now. Okay, so we now have our exchanges. So we now need to generate all the symbol pairs that are involved in our arbitrage so that they're mapped to the exchanges. What I mean by that is, if you look at the exchanges that we've selected on the left, you will see that there are currently no symbols mapped to these exchanges. They're empty. So what we need to do is click on, we need to click on Add All Symbols right here, right at the very bottom. And once you click on Yes, all the relevant pairs will be automatically generated for the exchanges. This process will take a few moments, so let's just wait a little bit. We'll have a nice little message that says done once it's done. And there it is. And now if we click on, say, Exmo, we will see that there are a bunch of symbols in here. Bitrex, same deal. So every exchange for arbitrage now has, every exchange that we use for arbitrage now has an automatically generated list of symbols, and they have been mapped. So let's move on to our last tab, which is Spread Monitor. The symbol field is empty right now, so we need to click on Run. So you can see this is empty, so just click on Run at the very bottom. And now we have a list of symbols. When we choose a symbol from that list, we see the spreads available for the exchanges. Some exchanges support these currencies and some don't, so this is reflected in the data that you see here. Now let's take a look at the, let's go over the table itself, the data that you see. The table is always the same, so let's use Ethereum USD as our example. At the top you see the exchange, you can see the volume, that's letter V, and you can see the last price immediately below the volume. That's at the top. On the left, further below, you see the exchange, the volume available for purchase, and the purchase price. So essentially you have the bids at the top and the asks, the offer at the bottom on the left. You see both the available volume and the available price. Now let's say we would like to add some kind of automatic rule for one of the exchanges. We first take a look at our balances under the Balances tab. So let's navigate to the Balances tab right here. We can see that right now we have some US dollars with XMO, but we don't have any with CX.io. We only have Ethereum and Bitcoins with CX.io. So that means we'll have to open a buy order with XMO and a sell order with CX.io. So XMO will be our buy side, buy exchange, and CX.io our sell exchange. So let's go back to our table. Oops. Okay, so we select to have a cross between the two exchanges, between XMO and CX.io. And then we need to right-click. So let's just select them and then right-click and click on Create Automatic Rule. We need to input a label. Let's just enter test1. Test1 and click OK, and we now have an automatically created rule. So let's go over the definitions here. We have the label, we have the buy exchange and the sell exchange. We've got the symbol that we'll trade. We've got the lot size and the open and close spreads. The other headings, that's our statistics. So we've got the current open and close spreads and the minimum open and close spreads. So let's activate this by checking off the enabled box. So we see that for this pair, the current open spread is 0.3% and the current close spread is 0.27%. So if we want to at least break even on our arbitrage trades, we'll need a difference of at least 1% between the open spread and the close spread, because we need to take into account the commission fees that we'll pay both on the buy and on the sale. So if we want to break even, in that case, we need to set the open spread to -1 and the close spread to 0. And that way we'll ensure that the commission fees are covered, although no profit will be made. So let's change the open the value for the open spread to -1, -1, it's a little finicky, but bear with me for a moment. Okay, so that's done. And we can now change the close spread to 0, and this will ensure that we'll break even on our arbitrage trades. Now, if we change the close spread to 0.5, all of our trades will earn 0.5% of the spread. Okay, so we've created an automatic rule, but we're not going to wait for an arbitrage situation right now. The goal is to show you how this works. We don't actually need to trade at this point. So if we change the open spread to 1, and then take a look at the logs, let's just do that. So open spread is 1. Now let's take a look at the logs. Right-click, view log. So what we'll see is there was an arbitrage situation, but the trades were rejected. And that's because we didn't specify a lot size. So the lot is currently sitting at 0, hence the rejections. And you can see that under the rejected deals tab. And there's another one, as you can see. The program was designed in such a way that there is an interval of 30 seconds between unsuccessful trades. And you can see that by looking at the times. You can see 10:53, 11:23, that's 30 seconds. So there's a 30-second gap there between unsuccessful trades. So always remember to pay attention to the lot field and make sure that you have a value in there. And also the lot size has to be supported by both exchanges as well, the lot size that you're using. If we use a value of, let's use a value of 0.05. This size is supported by, this lot of size is supported by XMO, but not by CX.io. So what ends up happening is we'll have an open order on XMO, but nothing on CX.io. So we'll have orders open on only one of the two sides, and this is what's happening right now. And if we look at the logs, we can confirm that. Let's just expand this window right here. Right, so if you look at the top two above, the two orders have been opened in XMO, but there's nothing for CX.io. There is, however, you will see a pending order sitting under the pending deals tab. And it's in limbo. And if you look at the balances, the XMO balance has been updated, but the CX.io balance is unchanged. So be mindful of that, and be sure to remember to pay attention to your balances. Now let's do a real trade, or what approaches a real trade. We'll set the lot size to 0. Let's go with this volume, 0.1. I know this lot size is supported on both exchanges. We'll remove this order from our pending orders. And first, there we go. Now for some reason, it's gone into our closed orders. And the reason is that the close, so the close spread is at 0.5. So the orders were opened and closed immediately. So let's change the close spread to 1 as well. Actually, let's make it 0. Because the current spreads were under 1%, our close spread of 1 opened and closed the orders right away. So we need to adjust this accordingly. So let's go with 0, and we now have an open order, and it's sitting right there. or at least it should be sitting. So let's just take a look at our opened deals. Okay, there it is. There's our open order. Let's go over the headings. So we've got the we have the deal ID, which is automatically assigned by the program. We have we've got the pair label. We have the exchanges, both the buy and the sell exchange. And we can see which exchange is on the buy and which is on the sell side under the side heading. We have the symbol, the lot size, the order IDs on the exchanges, the open price, the spread that was indicated, and the actual spread at which the order was opened. So at this point, we have two possibilities. We can wait, or two choices. We can wait for the arbitrage trades to be closed when the market changes, or we can just close the order manually by clicking on the X right at the end of that row. That's another thing that we can do. So it's right here. That's the X. Now, if we want to some other additional options. If we want to get rid of the statistics, right here we right-click and then select Clear Statistics. And the statistics will then be cleared based on the minimum open and close spreads identified while the program was running. So if we click to clear it, it will clear and then repopulates the fields with the minimum spreads that the program has found, has identified. Just like that. You can also right-click and choose to view the logs. We've already seen how that works, but we'll take a look at it again. View log, and there we go. This is where you can view the history of your activity. You can also click to remove the pair, but that will not work right now because we have an open order. And we also have an option to switch sides, and again, that will not, it will switch the buy exchange and the sell exchange, but it won't work because we have an open order right now. And we can add additional pairs, and that's another thing that we can do. We can add additional pairs and enable them right away because the spread values are set to -100 by default. So it's safe to enable them instantly right away. And we can then monitor the situation and see what happens. So to avoid, that's really it in a nutshell. Just to avoid another order from being opened, let's set the open spread to -1 and then try to close the order manually, the open order. So click on X. As you can see, we will have a loss of about 0.5% for an Ethereum USD lots of 0.1. Okay, so the order has been successfully closed, and all of our closed orders are located under the Closed Deals tab, and you can see all the relevant information here as well. So you can see the spreads, the profits, and so on. And that's how this tool works. We hope that this has been of help. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.